Okay, this is question number 11, at least when I'm recording this. The numbers may change in the future from the Laplace transform homework. Anytime we've got a rational function like this and we want to do an inverse Laplace transform, ideally we would like to use partial fractions. We would like that bottom to factor and use partial fractions. That's not going to factor. If it doesn't factor, then you have to use completing the square. You have to complete the square in the denominator. So, excuse me, I'm going to take half of -8, which is -4, square it. So 4 squared is 16. Add and subtract that in. That way I'm not changing anything. I have to put it in and take it out. Why am I doing that? So that I can group these three together as a perfect square trinomial. These three together is s minus 4 squared. And then I just add those together. -16 plus 20 is 4. Why am I doing that? Because I'm trying to fit these two different forms here. So I look at what I have. I know I've got to fit these two forms. And I'm going to end up with a sine and a cosine term in this particular problem. Because I've got an s on top, that's going to give me a cosine. Plus, I've got this constant on top, that's going to give me a sine. But I need to fit these forms exactly. So first, I'm going to identify my A. My A is that guy where it's s minus A right there. So A is 4. And then this one here, that's k squared. So k is 2. So now I've got to hammer this thing to make it look like a couple of these added together. So the way I chose to do this, first I'm just going to factor that 2 out. I'll deal with that 2 on its own later. I'll redistribute the 2 at the end. So factor the 2 out. Now I need my cosine to be s minus a. I need an s minus a on top. I've got s minus 7. I need that to be s minus 4. So what I did, I said, well, 7, that's just 4 and 3. So I broke that 7 up into -4 and then the leftovers, -3. So there I've got my s minus 4 over this jump. That'll give me a cosine. The 2 is going to come along for the right. So now I've split this up. So I'm going to have the 2 I have to distribute here. I'm going to have 2 times this guy, and then -3 times 2 over this guy. Now, here's the way I figured this part out. For the sine one, I need to have a k on top. K was 2. I need to have a 2 on top. I've got a 3 on top. Actually, I've got a 6 on top because I got 2 times 3. Well, I've already got a 2 coming, right? There's my 2. I don't have to do any special work to get that 2 on top. If I had, after distributing, say I had a 7 here, then I would pull that 7 out, put a 2 on top, and put a 2 on the bottom because I have to have a 2 on top. Okay, so this will give me sine. This will give me cosine. The 2 and the -3 just come along. These are challenging. Like you have to practice a couple.